Hi guys, it's Nandi. Welcome back to Vibrant Authentic Living. I have a lot of bush in my hands. So this is what we call in Jamaica callaloo or greens, right? When we refer to greens, this is callaloo, which is from the amaranth family. We call it callaloo or greens, and traditionally it is served steamed for breakfast on its own, or very often with codfish or saltfish, or any way you want to serve it, right? So you steam it down and then you combine it with whatever. So the callaloo, as you can see, the stem is it can be quite husky, and it actually sometimes it gets very tough, so there's a very fibrous kind of waxy coating to the stem. You can, when you're preparing it to be steamed, usually you will remove this waxy outer part of the stem and slice through the stem and chop that up, and then you'll also cut up the leaves and steam that down. Of course, you can also use your greens, your callaloo, in your juices, which is how I mainly use it. Now, you should know by now I'm a fruits person, so I'm not that much into the leaves, sorry. But when I do add, when I'm ready to add my greens to my juices, I do, and the callaloo is one of those that I will use in addition to the pak chow, the moringa, alfalfa. Those are the greens that I go to, but primarily I'm a fruits person. But you know, we are all at different stages along the journey, and some persons still love their veggies, still love their greens. So I'm going to share with you the benefits that you can get from the callaloo. When I was just starting on my vegan journey many decades ago, so when I was about 14, I used to make lots of callaloo juice in my aunt's blender. I remember I used to borrow her blender, and I would get my callaloo and blend it up with carrots, cucumber. And what happened, because the greens, they are so full of chlorophyll, you know, they help, of course, with the ability of your blood to carry oxygen. And what I also found with drinking lots of green juice, callaloo juice, it really helps with your skin tone. It gives you a cool, smooth skin tone. Of course, the greens are loaded with iron and calcium, so we'll get into that a little later. Alright, so the callaloo is very common in the Caribbean, the entire Caribbean, not just Jamaica. As a matter of fact, the callaloo is the national dish in Dominica, and is also a part of the national dish of Trinidad and Tobago, where they have crab and callaloo pilau, right? So it's very popular also in Guyana and other places of the Caribbean. Pepper pot is one of the main ingredients in pepper pot soup. and it depends on the region that you're in. They will add different things to the callaloo. In Jamaica, typically when we're adding anything, it would be salt fish or codfish. The raw greens as is, as I have it in my hand, and usually you'll see the vendors, they'll drive through the communities, or ride rather, on their bicycles, selling the callaloo almost every morning, and particularly on weekend mornings, because it's a very popular weekend breakfast. Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and sometimes during the week you'll hear the peddlers going about and they'll be calling out greens, or callaloo, and you know, they have their regular customers who buy from them almost every morning or almost every weekend. So you will get it in bundles like this, right? So you'll buy a bundle and you will have to strip the waxy skin from the stalks and cut it up, and or you can get it like I did in the supermarket, or from some other vendors. They already have it cut up for you, right? So if you don't have the time, if you're on the go, if you have to rush out for work in the mornings, they have it already cut up and packaged, so you can buy that one. Of course, you know, some persons just prefer to do these things by themselves because the meal tastes better. You know that, right? When you cut up the callaloo by yourself, some persons will tell you it tastes different than you allow somebody else to interfere between you and the spirit of the callaloo. Alright. If you're going to use it in juices, like I do, I blend my greens with fruits. I find that just the flavor of the fruit enhances the kind of bland or sometimes bitter taste of the greens. Now the callaloo isn't bitter, but some other greens are, and I find that for example, the citrus fruits go very well with the greens. Alright, now the callaloo is very, very rich in fiber, particularly if you're going to have it raw as is, right? When you steam it, you take away some punch from that. You're still going to get some fiber, but you have put it through the cooking process. Even though the callaloo does not take long to cook, it cooks very quickly and it releases out a ton of water when you're steaming it. So you have to be careful not to put too much water in the beginning stages, or you'll go back and find callaloo soup. Alright, so it releases the water and the fiber does become denatured to some extent. Right, so take it raw, blend it up, and you decide if you want to strain or you want to have that fiber in your smoothie. And the fiber is very great for the digestive system. Fiber helps to flush the digestive system and move the feces along efficiently. So it avoids constipation, and it also helps towards weight loss, because when you have fiber in your diet, you feel full for longer, and it will you can avoid the snacking, constant snacking, because you have that fullness inside. Now the callaloo is very rich in flavonoids and other antioxidants, which have been found in research to lower the risks of certain types of cancer. Now there's a particular compound in the Callaloo called tocotrienol, and that has been found to reduce the occurrence of cognitive disorders such as Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia, and it also has been found to lower the risk of Parkinson's disease and cardiovascular diseases. Now, the Callaloo has lots of vitamin C and vitamin K, which is essential for the clotting of blood when if you get a cut. It helps, vitamin K helps with the healing of the wound, the clotting of the blood, so you don't keep bleeding profusely. The Callaloo also has lots of iron, as I mentioned, and calcium, so that will help to prevent anemia and bone loss, help to prevent osteoporosis for those of us who are in our advancing years. And Callaloo also has potassium, which is very useful in terms of heart health and other functions in the body. So it definitely is worth including in your diet if you go for greens, you know, if you are that kind of person. I myself use greens occasionally, but I mainly use fruits. Alright, so again, let me just have a look at the Callaloo that has already been minced, cut up, ready for the blender or your bullet, your NutriBullet. Or if you decide to steam some veggies, or you're going to make your pepper pot, or your pilau, or your seasoned rice with Callaloo, or your steamed Callaloo with whatever, it's up to you. We're all on different stages, all on different journeys actually, and it's up to you what you decide to include. This is a gift of nature, and it has many health benefits. In Jamaica we call it greens or Callaloo. Alright, so this is Nandi, and before I go, let me remind you that you can become a supporter of the channel by simply following the Patreon link in the description below. Go on over and become a supporter, and if you have not yet subscribed, now would be an excellent time for you to do so. Just go ahead and subscribe and share the videos so more persons can come on board and start making healthy choices. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.